Welcome to Piggy Banks to Wall Street, the show that brings you the greatest minds in financial education. Piggy Banks to Wall Street is brought to you by Wenrich Wealth. To learn more about how Wenrich Wealth can help you plan for your future, or for a second opinion on your current plan, visit www.wenrichwealth.com or call 949-547-4313. Now your host, wealth manager, financial literacy advocate, and author of the book Teaching Kids to Buy Stocks, Stories and Lessons for Grown-Ups, JJ Wenrich.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of Piggy Banks to Wall Street, where we bring you the best minds in financial education. And we definitely have one of the best minds today. I'm super stoked to have with me Scott Glasgow, the founder of FinMango, a non-for-profit organization that is dedicated to solving the financial exclusion crisis, which I love that term and how you say that. You're not just trying to help financial literacy, you're trying to solve the financial exclusion crisis. So thanks for being on the show. Welcome. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it's such an honor and ready to, do this.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a good conversation. Scott and I had a call probably a month and a half ago or so where we talked for a while. It was our first time speaking to each other. And I'm still coming down from the energy that you gave me in that meeting. It was awesome having that conversation with you, and so excited that you agreed to spend some time today on this show. So for a lot of the people listening, this might be the first time they've heard of FinMango. Can you tell us a little bit about what it is and what you do?
Yeah, 100%. So FinMango is a nonprofit organization that we try to solve the financial exclusion problem by using data, tech, and advocacy. And on the data side, that's more like the research arm of FinMango. We're actually collaborating with Google right now on a COVID open data project. And now we're expanding that to doing healthcare economics, data sets, and a lot more stuff in financial inclusion in the future. The advocacy part, we like to throw some big events every now and then. We threw an event back in May that reached over 300,000 people on live streams, and over 1,600 people attended, called Extravaganza. We also allegedly broke the world record for the longest video call on Zoom in history with 24 straight hours. It was in 4 different continents around the world, nonstop. And then the tech side kind of like combines our past and our future, and we're just digitalizing all of our content and just scaling it. So data, tech, advocacy. That's how you can define FinMango. 3 words.
Fantastic. And so how did you decide to start this organization? Because it's become quite a big deal. You're global. You, like you say, you're doing all those different things. And we could literally try to set that world record again, just talking about all the things that you are doing. But let's start at the beginning. How did you decide to go down this path?
Yeah, so it was all by accident, which I think is sometimes the best when things just accidentally happen. So the story, just to do it kind of briefly here, the story started when I was in grad school. I had this professor that just started ranting. Financial literacy, financial inclusion, it's the crisis of our lifetime that nobody knows about, is how he said it. So I raised my hand. I said, what's the solution? What are people doing to effectively solve this problem? And the professor went, oh, I don't know. He's like one of my best friends, and it was a 3-hour class, and his answer was, oh, I don't know. So that class was called Financial Management, and nickname was called FinMan. So that's the first part of the name. And the second part of the name comes from the fact that whenever it comes to money, it's a very dark subject for a lot of different people. So I wanted to have something bright, colorful, energetic to break into that darkness. And what's better than a mango? So FinMan plus mango is FinMango. And so that's where the name came from. I'm based out of Ohio, Northeast Ohio, born in the same hospital as LeBron James fan for life. But never had any intention of doing anything outside of Ohio or Northeast Ohio or just out of my local community. But I eventually started in November 2016. We launched a program with an individual called Jonathan Lee, who was a college student at the time and was always involved and still is. And we launched in November 2016. Everything went really great. We posted on social media. And next thing you know, this organization reached out to us from Togo. And I had no idea where Togo was. I looked up Google Maps and find this tiny little country in West Africa called Togo. I thought it was kind of interesting. I thought for sure it was going to be a Nigerian prince scam. So, I had my phone ready and to take it on Snapchat, and got on this call, and it ended up not being a Nigerian prince scam at all. It was something very, very humbling. It was a call with an individual that was just as passionate as you and me, same type of passion, same type of energy. And I knew I had to do something to help, and didn't know what, but you never know what you're going to do until you just get started. So we got started, but anyways, the story there was they looked us up by looking up financial management, and get this, in the city in northern Togo called Mango.
It's just meant to be.
Yeah, so that's how it all started, and then 3.5, 4 years, actually almost 4 years now, exactly later. Can't believe it's that long already. But almost 4 years later, it's we've failed out so many times. We've improved. We kept on getting better and better, but always focused on quality, not on quantity. And by doing that quality, it set us up with really high level credibility, not just here and domestically, but especially at the global level, which is so hard to do. And that really set us up for this pandemic. And I can talk about the pandemic probably next, but I don't want to talk too much about the story. But that's a story of kind of what happened and how everything kind of led after that.
No, that's great. I love the story of how they were just searching financial management in Mango, Togo, and you pop up. So good job on your search engine optimization there. It really
it's
built a bridge.
It's so many things like that. Even like meeting you, it's just so amazing how just the internet just makes the world so small, and things just happen, but they don't happen unless you actually get out there and start trying. And that's when things just happen. I feel like you never know to try.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of start one step, two step, and keep moving forward, and then opportunities open up. And even how we met, I still haven't closed that circle yet. It was a guy here in San Clemente, California, where I live, that has the same last name as you, but is not related to you. That the way I understand it, he sent you a message to look me up or something like that.
Yeah, so this is actually all happened at the very beginning as well. It was right there in November 2016. It looks like he was looking up Scott Glasgow's. His own son is Scott Glasgow. His name's Don Glasgow, by the way. He is the most amazing person I've ever met in my life. I'll talk about that in a second. But he looked, I think he was just snooping on Facebook, saw Scott Glasgow, saw mine, and saw I had FinMango, and I had pictures from that first event that I did here in Canton, Ohio. And he just reached out, and he's the type of person that just gets things done. He runs this amazing charity that does work in Tijuana, Mexico, called Kingdom Builders Ministry, and they do so much work. And he's just type of person. It was just like, I remember he started messaging. It's like, I love this idea of Mango. I really want you to come down and see if we can work with our charity. And next thing you know, a few weeks later, I'm on my way out to San Clemente, and he even allowed me to stay at his place, which was amazing because he didn't even know who I was, and I didn't know him. But I stayed at his place in San Clemente, and next thing you know, I actually had one of our college mangoes at the time named Soham Patel. He actually lives in LA. He was coming back for winter break from Bucknell University in Pennsylvania. And he actually drove like 2 hours from LA down to San Clemente. We stayed at Don Glasgow's house for the night. And at 5 a.m., we jumped into his truck and off to Tijuana, Mexico. Yeah. But he actually, he reached back like a year, like we stayed in touch. I've actually been back there and visited him several times, and he sent me this article that you did in the local newspaper. Then he was like, I think this person has the same energy and passion as you, Scott. Definitely love to have you connect. And I added you on Facebook, and I think that's how it got started.
Yeah, no, that's wild. And what's, maybe it's an indictment on me and trying to do too many things and not getting enough done. I still haven't met Don. We live in the same town, and yeah, when my book came out, it would have been around May of 19. I'd gotten a write-up in the local San Clemente Times, which is, we're a pretty small city. I grew up in a town of 100, so I can still call it a city because it's around 60, 70,000. But put up a write-up in there, and I think he saw that and forwarded it to you. but I've been meaning to reach out and get in touch with Dawn since you and I had that conversation. So maybe since I'm actually recording this, that'll be my trigger to, hey, go ahead and reach out and find Dawn, because I think that we have several common interests, because I'm involved in some other nonprofits here in San Clemente as well that have pretty big ambitions. So I definitely need to reach out to him. But
I would say he's like the king of nonprofits in the area, because he just, even the local, not just in Tijuana, Mexico, that's the one he started actually several other nonprofits locally. And I went out there, we were just going, helping out with a lot of the nonprofits he's involved with. He does this bicycle exchange program. He does, I think it's called Just Like Me Foundation, does amazing work. And he's unbelievable. I thought I don't get a lot of sleep. After staying with him, I noticed that he stays up later than me and he gets up earlier than me. He's in his 80s, and it's ambitions. That's like goals in life.
That's nothing like having a goal of sleeping less. That's
his productivity is just amazing, and I think he walks faster than me and everything. And it's just like, I'm just like, I want to be like Don Glasgow. I wish I was related to this person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think about you all the time because I see what you're doing, and I definitely want to be like Scott Glasgow, and I can't wait to one of these days meet Don. And
yeah, he's a legend. He's one of those people who just gets it done. Nothing else. Nice. There's not much talk. I mean, next thing you know, I was on a flight and going to Mexico. Same week.
Oh, that's great. He's a doer. He gets it done. So let's dig in a little bit on Thin Mango. And I know that you have more things going within it than we could probably cover, but talk a little bit in more detail about what you're doing. I know that you talked to me in the past. You call yourself Mango Scott, and all your other advocates, they go by Mango something. And no, I was just really inspired by some of the programs you were telling me about last time. And then since then, I've gotten to know, just over social media, a few of your other organization members, and everybody just exudes this positivity that is infectious, from you to, I think it's Kaylee that runs a lot of your social media. She's always posting these super inspiring messages, and I think she's still in grad school. So just such a cool group. Tell us a little bit about some of the programs that you guys are running.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's one of the most humbling things. I feel like the internal story at Thin Mango is equally as powerful as the impact we make in the lives of others around the world. And it just gets stronger and stronger by the day, it feels like. And I feel like the pandemic has actually made it a lot stronger for us. And we want to make sure we use the opportunities given us now to give back even more. And anyways, I kind of go back, I guess, like more of that is like, everything is about giving back in this organization. And this is something that a lot of people are absolutely amazed by. And I think you were as well. We are still 100% volunteer based, including myself.
Yep.
And it's so great. And I do that on purpose because I want to always give back to the Mangoes. And that might be changing pretty soon with the stuff's going on. But we have done everything we have done as volunteers with pure passion. And it proves that, two little principles can really make a huge difference in this world. Number one, passion. It's infectious. I mean, when that call, I think I literally went out and ran after it because I got. But when you find people like that, you want to find as many as you can. But what's even more special is that when you do find a few, us people that are so passionate, we create our own movements. And that's what you're kind of seeing at Thin Mango, and it's kind of maturing now and growing at almost like an exponential rate, where people get involved or they're in our community, they see that energy around them and it fires them up. And then, when you're fired up, you create your own movement. So, you have another, Kaylee is absolutely amazing. She's creating a movement, all of her friends and stuff are wondering, what is Thin Mango? What is this? How can I get involved? Another person that's really big on social media is Anthony Schilt, and I'm sure you've seen him. And I call them. Oh, actually, it's an individual that's like, she's a big business titan. She called Anthony like a jumping bean in the best way possible, because just like I see him everywhere on all the social medias, and but they create their own movement, and all their friends want to get involved, and they're pushing this thing forward, and they do so much that it's almost like carbon copies of yourself. And and I feel like I'm learning from them so much because I don't know anything about social media. But anyways, I'm talking too much about this, but it's kind of really a big part of the pandemic. It really helped me realize it is so special to have that ability to just give back and see how you can do together by being unselfish, uplifting others, and create real impact. No BS. We're not going to do any, politics, nothing. It's just pure impact. It's crazy. I think I just ran it way too long, but it almost gets
not at all.
it's just crazy to see how many. I mean, I'm sending out like packages right now, like shirts to all the mangoes, and I'm probably gonna spend over $1,000 on those packages. But it's like there's so many, but they're from around the world. We have a girl named Chelsea. She makes our cool little social media graphics. We have videographers. We have it's like almost like we're getting millions of dollars worth of labor for free, and it's all because we're trying to do this mission to create a positive difference in the world. And everybody's on it. Everybody's sold on it. Everyone's going for it, and they see the impact and they're seeing the difference, and they're not going to stop. Yeah. And it's my job to keep that accelerating.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been around organizations that have passion and fire, but to match that up with the execution is, you don't give yourself enough credit. I mean, it's amazing the execution you guys have. Because you're doing, so you do classes in schools, correct?
Yeah.
You do these workshops in, across the globe. I see stuff like out of Togo, but other places globally as well.
And I'll kind of like jump in there, just kind of say that we are kind of focusing, like with all of our programs, we really are just kind of throwing them underneath our tech pillar now. I'm just kind of digitalizing that and scaling it and passing our on the ground programs to the partners. Because from day one, our program's been by the people, for the people. We've always been behind the scenes. In Uganda, we've done collaborations with the central bank, the U.S. Embassy, the IMF, and what we always try to work really hard on was making sure that we partner with an organization on the ground that's really doing the work that already had these relationships. And in Uganda, that's iProfile Foundation. Just giving a little shout out. They're absolutely phenomenal, and they're the ones. We can't go in there culturally. You can't have the same curriculum in Uganda as you have in Togo, or even within the same country. So our whole model was really kind of using our brand to make things happen, make connections, and get the funding, whatever it takes, help design it, but make sure the program's by the people, for the people, and make sure the curriculum's built by those people. And Rosemary is her name, and Aisha and Vincent, they're from the communities that we work with in Uganda. And you just see the fire in them when they go in those schools. They don't need it for money. Like they're volunteers as well. They're successful entrepreneurs, but they got out of that position that they were in, and now they want to get back, and they have all this fire. So our job now is, we've kind of built that community. We have this crowdsourced curriculum, and what we think we now can do is we have such high quality curriculum that's so customized and so relevant in so many different regions of the world. I'm very confident nobody else has anything like it. So our job now is to kind of digitalize that and let it, reach more people. And so that's kind of like the execution part. And we're doing that with like a Snapchat type of format, where it looks just like a Snapchat, where you can kind of click back and forth, and it's cool, easy. It's going to be offline compatible, simple. And so anyway, yeah, that's but the execution, this is all by volunteers. I mean, we can build crazy tech products. We can, we have this data project collaborating with Google, and we're literally saving lives around the world. And now we're expanding that to financial inclusion and economics. And then we have the campaign, which I haven't talked about. We have 43 countries represented in 90 days of no marketing, just posting a few times on social media. We have advocates from around the world in 43 different countries. And you go to our website and read their stories, and you're on there as well. It's like, I'm so inspired. Like, there's so many people out there that are just like us. And that was the whole point of the campaign, was really just kind of try to uplift the community, tell people stories, get their names out there. Because at the end of the day, we with going back to funding, we're in this to make impact, not to make money. We're not here to compete. We're not the best people to do this if we're not the best. We're going to pass it to the person or organization that will do a better job. So if a foundation wants to give us a lot of money for this program in Zimbabwe, or some country like Togo or something like that, we'll make sure that we make a deal that maybe we're not even in it, because the organization on the ground are the ones that know what they're doing. Let's just make sure they get all the resources so they can do the best work they can. And sorry for getting a little bit emotional again, but but this is all by volunteers. I really have to emphasize, I firmly believe we have the highest productivity rate per hour compared to any nonprofit or for-profit in the world. I really believe it. It's crazy. Everyone says, oh, volunteers, you can't trust them, you can't believe in them. Look at us. It's crazy.
It's so impressive and inspiring, and I'm glad you keep emphasizing that it's volunteer driven, because I've been around some other organizations that try to do some of what you're doing and have massive budgets and CEOs that make plenty of money running the organization. And I love that you don't, this isn't your breadwinner. You've been able to make a living just without having to do it through the nonprofit, and still not giving up quality or productivity. I mean, my goodness, all the stuff going on a volunteer basis, it's so impressive. It's so cool. And just love your entire approach, that it's, for one, quality, because I've seen, even within our circle of financial literacy, I've seen bad content, and I've had to work around some bad content as a volunteer before. And it really, I think it helped drive me to start to create my own content, to say, well, let's not we've got an audience and then we're going to give bad advice. That's horrible. You really are focused on making sure that you're giving good tools, good advice, and working on results, not taking credit or hoping, all right, well, we've got to have our brand on that, because then that'll help maybe bring in more donors or whatever it is. It's just such a breath of fresh air from an approach standpoint, because let's face it, there's non-for-profits out there that the bulk of their money goes to just running the organization. And not trying to be negative in any way, but it just really helps you guys stand out. And I think that people love it when they know their dollars are going to what they think their dollars are going towards.
Yeah. And that's something that's been really big for me as well. I just wanted to kind of like change the game almost, even for like charity when I started this. And it's just really making sure you do it right, focus on quality. I mean, everything's about user feedback. Every program we have, we're getting feedback. Like we have this investment program we call Mango Bob here domestically. He goes into high schools, just talking about volunteers, like part of FinMango. He goes in when there's no pandemic. Like last year, he was going into high schools every day, 5 days a week, the full school day, 8 hours or so a day for the whole school year. He's a multi-millionaire, owns a car dealership, and he's just straight up giving back, not selling anything. Matter of fact, he tells the students on the first day, don't buy a brand new car. It's the worst investment you could ever make in your life. And I think his kids want to kick him out of the dealerships. But it's just an example of the energy and the passion that's involved in Mango from around the world. But the thing is that Mango Bob, he's been involved in Mango since the early days. But there's so many people you see in that campaign that are just like him around the world doing the same stuff. And I don't know. It's just one of those things, like, funding is important. But in my opinion, I always focus on creating value. And in my opinion, based on studying like the biggest change makers in history, the biggest companies, the best of the best, what they always do, they focus on value.
Yeah.
And when we focus on value, naturally the next thing you attract is talent. Well, FinMango, we attract, like, I don't think it's argument. I'm just going to flat out say it. We have the best talent in the world. No question around. We have the most amazing people in the world, most talented, everything. And then after you attract the talent, you then attract the resources. And look what's happening now. We attract this talent. We broke world records. We then launched this campaign. And next thing you know, we launched an official collaboration with Google on the COVID Open Data Project. And that project is a little bit outside of financial literacy, but it's a way for us to kind of pivot at a time that humanity needs it, and we can do it. We have people that speak up to so many different languages. I lost count. The last time I checked, it was like 15 different languages you can translate and with volunteers. But it's like, I don't know, it's just kind of crazy when you think about it. We have national media coverage. We've been on CNN, New York Times, Daily Beast. We didn't pay for that. That's all was just given because of the value creating, the fact our work. All those media outlets don't even talk about FinMango hardly. It's always talking about the work. And that's our values. We don't want to be known, it would be nice, but that's not the purpose of the work. The purpose is create amazing work, collect amazing data, do whatever it takes, and let other people realize that and use it and build on it, collaborate. I think collaborate is really key. I hate people being selfish. Let's work together. 5 billion people are considered financially illiterate in this world. 1.7 billion people lack access to financial services. Let's stop dragging our feet. Let's stop trying to be selfish. Let's uplift each other. Let's work together and let's solve this problem. This is solvable. We can solve this within 10 years. Just got to work together. And there's so many amazing people doing it. And, and it's just, but there's also, as you said, there's also a lot of crap. And that crap is also hurting the community because, people lose trust when they see crap and they don't trust anybody. And it takes hard to get that back. But I think we can do it with passion, with energy. And again, it's not about FinMango. It's more about the movement of getting financial literacy and getting people literate. And we have to work together.
No, you're doing it. It's so fun to see it happen. And I just can't wait to see all those numbers change. Can't wait to be sitting here talking to you 10 years from now. And we've like, you know what, we've put a hell of a dent in this. And you have fun doing it too. I mean, I think that's the other thing that attracts people is, all right, we can make a difference and we can have fun. And we have people like Mango Bob, another one who I haven't met with, but I feel like I know him because of social media, which is cool in itself that you can get these glimpses into little bits of people's lives through social media. But I love people like that are financially independent enough, wealthy enough that they could just put their feet up and smoke cigars and drink scotch and play golf every day or whatever it is. And instead they say, you know what, I'm so blessed to be here. I want more people to feel this independence. I want more people to know, how much you can lift others by giving back and by being innovative. Because there's another guy that I work with here in San Clemente who he could easily be, just fishing every day, but instead he decided to become a pastor and, dig in and try to help people as much as he can. And not just a pastor, I see him at every nonprofit board thing that he can, and always not just sitting there, but giving good ideas. So Jesse, if you're listening, I'm talking about you, but it's so inspiring to see people that, they made it to the top of the mountain from a financial independence standpoint, but they don't just stand there and look down. They're out there reaching hands up, trying to get more people on top of the mountain with them. And people like that don't get enough press.
They don't. And that's why I had to make sure I bring up Mango Bob. And it was named Bob Gillingham Ford, and give a little shout out. But I'll give you like one little last example of what FinMango is kind of made up of, what I've kind of helped try to cultivate in this culture is the fact that, we had an opportunity to go out to San Francisco for a pretty large foundation. It wasn't aligned with our interests, so we didn't do it. But we got invited to this like event. It was really like I guess you can call it like a fancy event, bougie type event. A lot of fintech startups, a lot of high profile kind of people. And it was like FinMango probably didn't deserve to get invited or be there, but we got there because our branding and stuff. This was way back. This is back in early 2018. And it was kind of crazy. But anyways, they gave me $1,800 to come out for myself, stay at a fancy hotel, fly a first class flight or whatever. So I didn't do that. I got the money. I ended up seeing how far I could stretch this to give back to the Mangoes at the time. So I ended up buying, we ended up getting we found like $90 round trip flights with Spirit Airlines. It was not the most comfortable airlines in the world, but it's still $90 round trip to San Francisco. And Mango Bob actually joined on that trip. So we had 6 college students and Mango Bob, multi-millionaire. And we ended up going out there, and I was determined to stay on this budget. So we, the flights took a decent chunk of it. But then when we got out there, we decided we're going to stay at a hostel. Now, for the college kids and myself, I'm not too much older. I'm 28. I mean, at the time I was only like 26, 27, 25. So I was a little bit closer to college age. So it's not that big of a deal. But Mango Bob, multi-millionaire in his 70s, stayed in the hostel with us because he was like, he's the same way. He's like, I'm not going to waste money. Like, I'm going to do it. I mean, you guys are doing it, I'm doing it. So we did the whole San Francisco weekend trip. We hiked, we had a blast. We went to the event. We made so much noise. Everybody in that room would never forget about us. We had so many stickers. We were just, you had 6 college students with the same passion you've seen on social media, just droning around everywhere. And It was unbelievable. We actually ended the whole trip on a really nice Michelin rated restaurant. And then that actually fit in the $1,800 budget. Nice. So, you know, a 6-7 person trip to San Francisco from the East Coast on $1,800. I think if that doesn't speak what FinMango stands for, then I don't know what, because that's walking the talk.
Absolutely. No, that's so many lessons in one right there. And yeah, no, that's well done. You're a heck of an event planner too. I see then, to be able to do that.
That was quite. I think we were just lucky because it was in January, which is usually a lot cheaper for flights and things. It was just a lot of luck came in, and but it was awesome because, you know, those college students, they didn't care. It was a bad airline or they were staying in a pretty crappy place. Like it was actually nicer than I thought, but it was like all they cared about was just being together, because we work so remote. We always have. We were perfectly prepared for the pandemic in a way. And it's so cool when you get together, like in person, and it's and we're able to hike and do all this stuff. It's just like, and that's, you know, that's the whole point of FinMango though, is give back. I could have easily been selfish and enjoyed a fancy, but who would have cared? People that are involved in FinMango be like, oh, look at you. That's not how it is. Anything I can do to give back, it's going to be done. I sacrifice every single day for them. And that's how we work.
No, well done. So awesome. So awesome. That's great. So well, thanks again for being on the show, and thank you to everyone listening in. Hopefully you can feel some of that passion for what we're trying to do, you know, both at FinMango, what I'm trying to do with my platform, and then everything else that we share on our you know, website platforms, whatever it is. It's all kind of one thing anymore. We appreciate you very much listening in. And until next time, hope that you stay well and have a great week. Thanks so much.
This podcast is sponsored by Wenrich Wealth. To learn more about how we can help you plan for your future, or for a second opinion on your current plan, visit our website at www.wenrichwealth.com or call 949-547-4313. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA and SIPC. Wenrich Wealth, Teaching Kids to Buy Stocks, Golden Seal Productions, and OC Talk Radio are not affiliated with LPL Financial. The opinions in this matter are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations or a substitute for specific tax or legal advice for any individual. We suggest that you discuss your specific situation with a qualified tax or legal advisor. No strategy assures success or protects against loss. JJ's book, Teaching Kids to Buy Stocks, Stories and Lessons for Grown-Ups, is available at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and other fine book retailers. Learn more at TeachingKidsToBuyStocks.com. Piggy Banks to Wall Street is proud to be a part of the Golden Seal Productions family of shows.